Before we jump into the game, I just want to say that I received this game for free by being a creator on Lurkit. My opinion on the game is mine and mine alone. I was not paid for giving a better opinion of this game. Saleblazers is a 1 to 8 player co-op, open world RPG survival game developed and published by Airstrafe Interactive. You are a shopkeeper who has been outcasted from your home and are now waking up in a bamboo forest and must run a shop to fund an escape from the island. Now, I did play this game for a couple hours of how it worked. The very first thing that I noticed was I couldn't even launch the game initially. I had to uninstall it and reinstall it just to get the game to allow me to play. Once inside, I went through a very interesting tutorial, which was almost like an obstacle course, which you'll see coming up later in the footage. When I first started actually playing outside of the tutorial, I noticed that there was no controller support, which is not necessarily a game breaking. That is more of like a personal preference, because I just need controller for my hands. Now, aside from that, I also noticed that the AI is a little bit buggy. One of the very first things that I noticed is that they do randomly attack you, and at night, you absolutely cannot protect yourself.
New totem added to your map. This totem will now serve as your telemed rebirth location. Teleporting to any totem in your personal transport network will set it as your telemed rebirth location. This totem is not yet connected to your personal transport network. Would you like to connect it for teleportation? You have successfully connected this totem to your personal transport network. You may now use your map to travel.
You are elite.
Alright, so here we are on like the obstacle part I was mentioning earlier. So this is like the tutorial to teach you how all of the game mechanics function. First one is obviously swimming, jumping, crouching, the very basic mechanics. These are like waypoints right here. You activate them and you add them to your map. I know later on they do start costing, but as of right now, where I was playing in the game, they were free.
New totem added to your map. This totem will now serve. This totem is not yet connected to your personal transport network. Would you like to connect it for teleportation? You have successfully connected. You may now use your map to travel.
Alright, if you saw just now, I got stuck on one of those hurdles. I was pressing the jump button, but it did not jump. So it seems sometimes the controls just don't respond, which is obviously a pretty big problem, especially when you're fighting.
New totem. This totem will now serve as your This totem is not yet connected. Would you like to connect it for... You have successfully connected this totem to your personal transport network. You may now use your map to travel. New totem added to your map. This totem will now serve as your This totem is not... Would you like to connect it? You have successfully connected this totem to your personal
So right here, we're in a tutorial room teaching you how to eat and drink and picking up stuff. So this was where I noticed my first real main complaint. While in this room, I kept picking up furniture on accident. And in order to put furniture down, you have to go into your inventory. I feel like there should be a way to assign that to the hot bar or like a building mode where it automatically pulls all the furniture out. Because having to do it all where you have to go into your go into your inventory in order to put furniture down is a little bit clunky, and it's one of the very first things that I noticed that I genuinely thought was an odd choice. The second choice that I thought was just a bit odd is actually related to the fighting. I noticed that the fighting is incredibly slow. In fact, right now I just picked up a club, so you'll kind of see it here in just a second. But this was the punch, which the punch was fine. Punch wasn't like slow or anything, but it's when you use a weapon. See, like, there's no way to properly aim it, and you can actually shoot way past the target that you were trying to hit. I did not like this. It felt very clunky. It felt like it was almost broken. So I think like this is something they should definitely kind of think about, because as you can see, like these dash moves that I'm doing right now on screen, they didn't work half the time. And when you're in an actual fight where an enemy is shooting you and rapidly attacking you, then that move's not gonna work.
You stood your ground. Nice. You've got this in the bag.
Right here is another example of the combat system feeling very clunky. So you can pick up these stones and throw them, but there's no way to actually aim except this little tiny like cursor in front of your screen, the crosshair, and it's tiny. In this room I could barely see it. I kind of had to just throw them in the general direction and kind of hope I hit. But overall, I don't think this system is going to work out long term for their game. Even just trying to climb that rock, I fell into it at one point and ended up having to restart on my first attempt to record this. I don't want to sound too critical right here, but the gun in our hands kind of looks like the 3D asset was just kind of copy pasted into the game, and it doesn't fit in our character's hand. So sometimes you can be aiming at something, but your gun actually shoots in a different direction, which was an issue that I found more than once. It took me about 5 or 6 tries just to get a usable piece of like footage that I could show you the gun kind of accurately.
This totem will now serve. This totem is not yet connected. Would you like to connect it? New totem added to your map. This totem will now. This totem is. Would you like to? You have successfully connected this totem. You may now use your map.
not you, who will?
Congratulations! You made it! You'll be an expert in no time. I bought this for you. A memento of your first official day as a Shepherd Star Enterprises. We'll celebrate some more with the others in the rec room later tonight. Now that I've been promoted to Airstrafer, I'm not gonna...
So this section right here is the only section in the entire beginning of the game where you are taught how to run the shop. Now, keep in mind, this tutorial is not very good for running this shop. There's a lot more that goes to it once you're actually out in the wilderness, like putting up displays, crafting displays, how to craft displays. There's a whole bunch more that they kind of don't tell you right here, and it can get a little difficult to figure this out if you're not sure how to. Like right here, you can see them buying, and it was not super clear that I could charge them more. I didn't figure it out until like the second or third customer that I can overcharge to make a profit on the game. There's no real place that really says that. So hopefully they'll add like a more concise tutorial in once we get towards the end of its development.
Nice work. Keep this up and you'll be ready.
So this part of the game right here is actually something I didn't quite expect. I did not expect to be losing the only named person that we've met so far. That was a huge shock, and I actually felt kind of bad because he had just been promoted. But this also is where I had the first issue. There's no waypoints. There's signs in the buildings, but there's no real waypoints kind of in your face that kind of tell you where to go. Now granted, that's a bit hand-holding, and not many games are including like waypoints anymore, but I definitely wish there would have been like a more clear like way to get to what I was supposed to be going to, because I was supposed to be joining them in like a meeting room, and here you can see I try to jump over the counter. I tried to go many different ways before realizing where I was supposed to go. So I definitely wish there should have been more clear, concise like waypoints.
This totem will now serve. This totem is not yet. Would you like to connect it? You may now use your map.
Okay, so this coming up part is actually where you're going to see the twist that I was talking about, and you're going to see just how clunky the combat is. But I'm going to actually let the rest of this footage play out, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to me. Bye bye.
My fault. I shouldn't be surprised when people find new ways to fail me. The devices have already been diffused. To achieve optimal results, I am delegating command of the Airstrafer program to the Android Vanguard Division.
Sorry for bringing you here.
An unfortunate purge, but excellence demands its own set of sacrifices. A shopkeeper in our midst. An interesting twist. Expunge this apparition from our path to